Hi, and welcome to round one recap for CESIM. I just want to go through some of the results of how we're doing for each of your teams. Team Green was at a sales revenue of 1.4 and 2.1 for Team Blue and 2.1 for Team Gray. Team Orange is in third place and Team Red is trailing. We're going to see why what happened with Team Red here in a moment, so that you guys can adjust for this week, so you can see what's happening. When you look at your profit and loss statement, you can start to see where maybe you're spending a little too much money or not making as much as you want in this case. Now, Team Gray did a lot of investing and spent some money on production costs and some other areas. Looks like research and design as well. They spent a pretty good chunk of change, but I think that's going to pay off in the end for them, and they will see that a benefit. So the actual profit for the round, the team that came in highest with the overall profit was Team Orange. So that will give you an idea of, actually it was Team Blue that came in with the highest level of profit. So that will show you where you stand with that. So it was Team Orange and then Team Blue and then Team Orange from a profit perspective. But you guys were pretty close in here for sure. And then the balance sheet is on the bottom of this in the results tab, and we can see that your total assets are listed here. Your equity is also listed, and your liabilities is here. And right now you can see that there's a lot of liabilities from Team Red. It looks like there is some investments and some long-term loans that have been made with Team Red, which is probably also impacting some of that profit in the first round. But look at ratios. Ratios will give us another perspective on our businesses, and this is really looking at the shares that we have and the trading price. And so the trading price during the round was at $118, and it looks like the shares outstanding are 30,000, and the cumulative return for Team Blue is the highest. So those people who invested in that company have the highest rate of return on those shares that were provided. Some key financial indicators to really help you understand where maybe you need to focus on, like Team Green as an example, is negative in net debt to equity. So when you look at your equity and your buildings and your equipment and all the things that are considered equity, money, cash in your company, it's your debt to equity ratio where you are a little bit below, so your debt's probably a little bit higher than what you have on hand. And you'll see that with Blue, Orange, and Gray as well. Otherwise, I don't see anything that would be, I think, overly shocking. I think most of this is your operating profit before depreciation is looking really, really good. Your return on sales, that 20% is a very good, also really good. Return on equity, 35, 56, 48%. Those are also excellent. I think return on equity, when you think about manufacturing, if you're in the 15 to 22% range, that's pretty good. So certainly in being at 56% return on equity, that's outstanding. If you look at your market reports, we'll find out who took some market share and why. So if we look, Team Gray actually took quite a bit of market share, and then Team Orange and Team Green and Team Blue are pretty neck and neck. Team Blue would probably be second, and then Orange and Green right after. And the reason for this, we will look at product prices. So I think product prices did play into this a little bit. When we look at, you scroll down a little bit further, when you look at Asia and probably what was sold in Asia, I think that probably helped Team Gray out considerably. I'm not sure how much volume-wise was sold in Europe for Team Gray either, but those two areas, they kind of came in lowest from a price perspective, and so that tends to get market share because people want to buy that product, but you have to have the right product in the right region for the right cost. So that'll kind of give you an idea of where they were with that. So definitely Team Gray took some market share. So from that perspective, they did well. So this is your production report, and when you look at your production, this is where I think Team Red had an issue. In US and Asia, you had a very small amount being produced compared to other groups that were definitely producing more from a manufacturing perspective. And so if you run out of product, you can't sell anything, and I think that's the biggest deal. So for round 2, make sure, Team Red, that you step up your production quite considerably, and I think that will help you. Capacity utilization, 100% is at full capacity. That's very rare to get to 100%, but clearly Gray sold out of everything, and I'm thinking part of that was due to the lower prices in Europe and Asia. So there was definitely a draw from those regions to purchase. These are the production plants that each of the teams have. So there's 13 plants in the US, 1 being built, 14 for Team Red, which and then 14 for Team Blue, and then 12 and 12. But some of the folks are building more from an Asia perspective, so there'll be more capacity available in Asia in days to come. The last overview then is the cost overview, and this is the cost details in your organization. And so for this chart, you can see your average logistics cost per sold product in US dollars for both US and for items sold in Asia and items sold in Europe. And you will see that those costs are listed right there. There was probably no product sold in Asia for Team Red, I'm assuming, because they probably sold out in Europe first based on their logistics, like where they're going to meet their demand first. The production costs, when you look at how much you're spending to produce, certainly there's a spend here on Team Red, Blue, Orange, and Gray in outsourcing for Asia, so that is where some of your costs went to. And then your US outsourcing, you can see the yellow for that as well. There were no Technology 2 production costs, or Technology 3 or Technology 4 for this round. So that's round 1 in a nutshell. When we go to the results, yeah, just give me a minute. I'll get to round 2 here so I can introduce round 2 for you. So for round 2, we've got some new things happening and things for you to pay attention to. And in the Market Conditions tab, you will find that the demand due to the sudden breakthrough in network technology, Europe and Asia are now able to support Tech 4 mobile phones. The research and design expenses for developing the new technology are believed to be enormous. The phenomenal growth experienced last year seems to be slowing down a bit. However, growth is expected to remain strong at least for a couple of years, and demand growth in USA is expected to be between 7 to 10%, in Asia 17 to 20%, and in Europe roughly 5%. Techno Analytics Inc., the research group that did this study, believes Tech 2 is now more attractive than ever, particularly in Asia. So that's what's happening this week. So make sure to read your market conditions and populate your checklists. When you go to the decision checklist, make sure not to just copy somebody else's into yours. I want you to make some original decisions. I'd also like you to make decisions in as many areas as you feel fit. So make sure that you get out there and not just update 1 or 2. I will deduct a few points for that. So make sure you do that. Also make sure that you're rotating CEOs. You can use the group codes that I created on Blackboard, or you can also use the forum here in CESIM. They will email either way, but I would appreciate that you pick different CEOs, as I will be watching that as we go along. So good luck for the next round. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me. Thank you.